But it is now my real pleasure and honor to ask somebody here to give you a very inspiring talk. I heard already Wouters talking about grit, about talent and about perseverance in order to achieve something. And so Wouters had a fantastic career. She is a professional. She was a professional basketball player. She also played in the WNBA. I think, can I ask you to come, Wouters, please? So Anne has been, I think you had 4 EuroLeague titles, 1 WNBA title, and she has been over years the captain of the Belgian Cats. And together with a good friend of mine, which was your coach at that time, I think both of you have made of the Belgian Cats one of the top teams in the world. So it is my real pleasure and honor to welcome Anne with us and to give you a talk, because you will hear what she is doing today will be very similar to what we are doing actually. Please.
Thank you. Thank you. Can I have this one?
Oh, yeah,
Thank you. Good morning, and I'm really honored actually to be here for you guys today. And when I was preparing my speech, I was like, I'm not gonna talk about robot surgery. I'm not even gonna talk about basketball skills, but there's a lot of other things I think we have in common. And the more and more I was preparing it, the more and more similarities I saw. But let me start with getting you guys introduced with some sports. And no, that didn't work. Technical problems, right? We all know that. And a presentation should never go without any technical issues. That's part of it. Working on it. We're gonna go. Perfect, thank you. So with some technical issues, some of the images while I was still playing, and obviously basketball has given me a lot. When I was growing up, sports was not really into my family, even though you can see my size. I was kind of falling into basketball by coincidence. And of course, it has given me a lot of confidence. As a girl that was way too tall, I just wanted to fit in. And that was the main thing when I started to play basketball. I felt I belonged somewhere. So maybe all of you guys come from different backgrounds. Maybe you also had that feeling from feeling, yes, I belong here. And basketball has given me that. But I think in a broader aspect, I think sports has something, as a power, because it speaks to young people, it unites people. And I think with all the different challenges we have nowadays in our society, I think sports can be something that we can use as a catalyst to really have all those challenges we have in the world and have something special there. Because I do believe in it that sports unite people, and that's what we always have to think about. When I was preparing this speech, I'm not going to talk about surgery, not at all, but I do believe in technology that has helped us over the years. Even in sports, innovation is very important. I heard words like innovation, collaboration. Those are key factors in sports as well. And all this technology has helped us to get better results, to break records, to break barriers. But behind that, there's always human skills, right? And that's exactly what I want to talk to you guys about, because that's also crucial to get innovation, to be creative. You guys will also have to have those human skills that I've learned also through my sports career. And I've been blessed that I could travel the world with my sports. I've played in 7 different countries, over 3 continents. And coming from here, from Belgium, from Flanders, it of course has broadened my vision on the world, traveling, discovering new cultures, but also working with people of different backgrounds. And always Every season it was starting all over again, starting to work with people, starting to be in a very high competitive culture, trying to win together. And I can say that I was pretty successful, so I brought my virtual trophy cabinet, and of course I'm proud of it. Thank you. If I hadn't won a lot of those, I wouldn't be standing here in front of you guys. Of course, that gives me some credibility. And with Champions League, well, EuroLeague is a Champions League of women's basketball and so on. But to be really honest, our time is a little bit limited here. This is not the most important part of today. I think this is. This is something, all my last finals, and those are quite a few too. And I think it's when we talk about innovation and stuff, I'm sure you agree with me that innovation never happens just like that, just only successes. No, in the sports, it's exactly the same. I don't know any athlete that has won all his or her games. No, like failure, setbacks, injuries, all those things happen during a career, and actually they make who you become, if you're gonna become more successful or not. And then fail is the first attempt in learning. I'm sure you guys had to train a lot too, had to learn a lot too, and that didn't always go without failing. And I think as sports people, we see failing as something that is just part of the journey. Of course, I was that competitive kid that didn't really like to lose. I had to learn also how to learn from something that wasn't as nice, that didn't go as planned. But that's where I think resilience comes into place. Resilience is a skill. I believe strongly in that resilience is something that we can teach. It's not just something like talent that we get, but resilience is something we can learn, we can teach, we can cultivate. And that is something, in my opinion, a person's level of resilience is maybe even more important than talent, even more important than training. I know you guys train a lot here, education, experience, but it's that person who's gonna be able to handle setbacks, who's going to be able to handle adversity, or better at least, that's the person who's going to be more successful, who's going to thrive, who's going to not give up. And when we just think about resilience, a lot of times we think about somebody strong, bold, who actually never has adversity, but that's completely a wrong image of resilience. It's not about being on top all the time. It's about knowing or navigating better between the ups and the downs in life that throws at us. We all gonna have that. And in sports, it helped me because I understood that I'm not gonna win all my games. I'm even gonna lose finals, and they hurt. I remember them all. They were disappointed and so on. But if then you can learn from it, you can get better. And there's a couple tricks that helped me to build my resilience. And I think maybe some of them you guys already do, and most likely you do, but it helps you to build your own resilience, because I think that's important in our lives in general, not only our professional lives. So it starts with routines. Obviously, we have to have great routines, but it's also about a social support network, having that. And it's also about being flexible. And I'll go into that a little bit more, because routines are that crucial. And we've heard it here, you guys have to train, you have to create great routines. To become excellent at something, you're gonna have to do it a lot. There is no secret there. In basketball, the same thing. You have to learn new skills, the muscle memory, everything. You have to do it a lot of times. And then you create great habits. You create great habits also because it gives you a little bit of security. It gives you also something you can predict. And a life of an athlete is kind of very boring, because you eat, you sleep first, you eat, you practice, and you do it on repeat. And that's how you get excellent. You do very simple things, but you do it a lot until you become excellent at it. And I can see the similarities there too, but routines gives you something else. The moment there is pressure, where you have to perform, and you cannot make mistakes anymore, those routines will help you, of course, to release some of that pressure, to feel very confident, to know, like, I'm ready for it, I can do it. When we have to go out there and play a game that will qualify us for the Olympics, we actually just have to do all the things we've done in all our lives, in all our basketball careers, but just the pressure is there. And it's nothing bad, because we know, and I think you guys agree with me, when there is pressure, well, we actually feel something that we can perform even better. So routines are crucial there to help us and to optimize things for sure, but especially to have some kind of self-control and to lower some of the pressure and know that you're ready in the moments you have to perform. With that, there is another philosophy in sports that comes with the power of the tiny gains. We always try to look for the marginal gains. And again, I want to say, I think you guys do exactly the same thing. We're going to look for the marginal gains. How can we get better for our patients? How can we make it safer for our patients? How can we reduce our time in the OR? And so on and so on. Well, in sports, same thing. We're gonna try to look for those 1%. And that 1% might not be a big difference next week, not even next month. But then, of course, if you keep being persistent with it, and that's the 1%, if we do it for a year, for 365 days, you will be better 37 times at the end of the year. And it's not just in one aspect. You can look at it at the material, maybe the load of training, the recuperation, the nutrition, and so on. All those little things will have, of course, exponential growth for you. And that's what a lot of people forget, because we try something, we think we have a new habit, but actually it's not a habit yet. And then we don't see the results quickly enough. And then we abandon, we give up. And that's where the real growth is. If then we keep on being persistent and we believe in it and we go for it, that 1% at the end will make a huge impact. Because success doesn't come overnight. I think you guys heard of this one. I don't believe in it. Success is something what we do repeatedly and what we do consistently. So then excellence is not just an act, it's a habit. Second thing in building your own resilience, I think it's really having a social support system. I think when adversity hits us, it is important that we can fall back on people, on meaningful connections with people, with relationships that have meaning for us, that we can give also support. It has been proven in psychology that it gives us an emotional security. And that is something that we can never forget. If we are so busy with our professional lives, sometimes that's a little bit on hold. And those important, meaningful relationships help us to be more performant. To me, it was having my family around. And as a female athlete, it's not an easy choice to make. And I'm so happy, I'm grateful, of course, afterwards you can say that easier, but that I made that decision to become also a mom during my career. And I see a couple of women, maybe you guys also have to sometimes choose for it, and it's not always an easy decision, but at least it gave me a more balance. I knew that I was coming home to a family, to meaningful relationships, and it doesn't always have to be a family, of course. It can also be with friendship. I think when adversity hits us, who do we go to? Friends. And that's something that are always there that back us up. And having that also support system for other people gives us a lot of meaning in life. It can also be on the work floor, having those really meaningful relationships. The next thing I think is also what is really, really common in sports is after a peak performance, a high, there's always a recovery phase. And you guys also have to perform at a high level all the time, those peak performances, but never forget that there also has to be a little recovery phase. Maybe it's not going to be exactly the same as athletes who can take a nap in the middle of the day, but it might be different things that you guys have to know how you recharge quickly, how you rejuvenate quickly, because if you want to peak high, there always has to be a little recovery phase to prepare the next peak performance that you guys have to give. Then the third thing in all building your resilience is also about being flexible. I heard the word innovation. That comes to me with being flexible, with being agile, because that is really, really meaningful. Because at the end of my career, I was pursuing an Olympic dream. We had never qualified in Belgium to go to the Olympics. And at the end of my career, as you can imagine, my cartilage in my knees was a little bit damaged, and I couldn't move as well anymore as I used to. And that's where I understood something very important. If I can only focus, and I admit, as an athlete, it's not easy to accept that physically it's going down. But then you understand that maybe basketball, it's not only about a track and field race where you have to be the fastest. No, basketball is an experience sport. It's a team sport. What else can I bring to the table if I don't run as fast anymore, if I don't jump as high anymore? Maybe there's other things I can bring to this team. Maybe I can focus on what is still possible instead of focusing, oh, I can't jump that high anymore. Oh, I can't run that fast anymore. So that's something that's so crucial that I learned really in the end of my career, being flexible in your mind. Not really flexible, that's also good, of course, physically, but in your mind, really being agile, finding what can you mean to your team. And when I hear the word innovation, that's all about it. If you want to be creative, if you want to find new ways, that's also about building your resilience. The world is changing. Let's embrace it. And I'm sure that we have that in common here. Otherwise, you guys wouldn't be sitting here, that we have to find new things to make our future better. And that's about being agile. That's about being flexible in our minds, because we can't stop the waves, right? But we can learn how to surf. And that's also not only professional, that's with everything that comes and life throws at you. Now, a second skill that I believe that we can all learn also is leadership. We're not just born leaders. Yes, some of them have it more natural in them, but I can promise you, when I was 12 years old and I would tell you that I would speak in a room full of surgeons, I would be like, what? No way. So there are things that we can learn, for sure. And leadership is something there also. I think with the path of your careers too, you guys were excellent at something, excellent. And then they put you all of a sudden in a leader, and now you have to lead people. Oh, but nobody taught me that. How to do that. And in sports, same thing. You start as a young athlete, you're good, and then all of a sudden there's other people that look at you that you have to learn, develop those skills, those leadership skills. And there is not just one way. There's been books and books written about leadership, that's for sure, but there's not just one way. That's where I also believe in the authentic one. And what I have in mind is 3 little topics that I would love to share with you also, because I've transitioned right now from a player into a coach. And I see there also, again, similarities with you guys. You have to train the young people that are right there. You have to share your experience with them. And the first thing is, as a leader, you have to have a vision. Obviously. And I started when I was just starting to play basketball. I also visualized something. I visualized a future, a dream. And that's what I've been hearing here too. Yeah, the world is evolving, but you guys are visionaries too. A leader has to have a vision. Because if you have a vision, you can see it, you can create it. Then people will follow you. And so it is important as a leader to have that kind of vision and to visualize it first for yourself again. Because at moments when I was playing, and I was 12 years old, playing in the backyard of my garden and trying to practice by myself, I was imagining myself playing in front of a big crowd in an exciting game, in a tough game, in a game that went all the way till the last second where I had the last ball. I had to score for my team. And of course, I've missed 100 times that shot in my head, but I was preparing myself. So visualization is important, and I'm sure it's part of your practice too, of your training, to visualize what you're going to do. And at the same time, as a leader, you have to be optimistic. You have to have that inner voice that is positive. You have to talk first to yourself in a positive way, but then you have to share that with the people in an optimistic way. I always say that I'm a realist, but also an optimist. Both can be the same. But I think that is important to kind of give your energy to other people. If you want to be a good leader, you also have to be able to lead yourself first, knowing yourself. As I told you guys, I'm now transitioned into an assistant coach in the WNBA at Chicago Sky. And it is about developing young people, but it's also always about learning about yourself. How can you transfer a message? How can you talk to people? How can I share my experience that I've felt on the court to another generation? But it's about knowing yourself. It's really self-leadership. You have to be able to lead yourself before you can lead other people. And I have a little video. I hope the sound will go right away. Let's see, a little test to also share with you something else. Yes.
If we want to play against men, we're nuts. And if we dream of equal opportunity, delusional. When we stand for something, we're unhinged. When we're too good, there's something wrong with us. And if we get angry, we're hysterical, or rational, or just being crazy. But a woman running a marathon was crazy.
Officials tried to pull her off the course.
A woman boxing was crazy. A woman dunking, crazy. Coaching an NBA team, crazy. A woman competing in a hijab, changing her sport, landing a double cork 1080, or winning 23 Grand Slams, having a baby, and then coming back for more. Crazy, 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 and crazy. So if they want to call you crazy, fine. Show them what crazy can do.
Sponsored by Nike, so let's move. But I do like the commercial. Yes, I heard things about inclusivity. Of course, in sports, this is always something that I like to show because women have come a long way. But when I see here, I heard that you guys want to be inclusive too. That is something that we have to dare. You know, there's something that in life and leaders, we have to dare. We have that vision, we dare. We have to be pioneers sometime. With this academy, you saw something. You wanted to do it. You have to have that dare. You have to have people that believe in you, for sure. That social support system is important. But for me, it was the same thing. I didn't really have a big dream of becoming a professional basketball player because I didn't know it existed. I didn't know. So it came along. So I had to be a little bit a pioneer somewhere. When I got drafted here, I was 19 years old. I had no idea. And then along the way, I've discovered a lot of things. But as a leader, yes, you have to be able to dare sometimes things. And it's not always easy. And I can promise you the day I had to leave to Cleveland, by the way, where I was drafted as the number one, of course, I had a lot of fear. I was scared. And that is very normal. I think when we do new stuff, we feel fear, and that's fine. But it's really, it's still acting despite that fear. That is real courage to me. And obviously, as a leader, you have to have courage. Yes, you have to have courage to do things sometimes for the first time. And then what is where I'm maybe most proud of is that now I can see people that are walking behind me. I laid a pad. Yes, as a Belgian, you can go and play in the United States in the WNBA. Yeah, there's other ones that followed me. Amazing. That's great. And that is something that I think that is really, really important as a leader, that you have to believe in it. And the word itself says it. We don't believe in impossible. No, it says it himself. I am possible. That kind of positive energy, that thing that you believe in, that you dare to do, is of course crucial. And at the same time, sometimes you're going to have to persevere. You're going to have that grit. Because only in the last season of my WNBA career, when I was playing for the LA Sparks, I became a WNBA champion. So it didn't happen the first time, not a second, not a third. No, I had to persevere. It was a tough road. Yes, it was hard. Of course, there's going to be things that are going to be really, really hard, and you're going to have to stick to it. And it's not going to be easy. But at the end of the day, if you keep on doing it, then of course it is beautiful. Now, the third thing in leadership, I think you all have to be coaches. And I can speak now from my own experience because I just coached also in the WNBA, which is a great opportunity to work again with great talent, the best talent of the world, with young people. And now all of a sudden transfer that experience I had on the court. Now all of a sudden I have to transform it in words. I can't do it anymore. I have to do it in a different way. And to be able to coach gives also a lot of meaning, gives a lot of value. I think all of you will have to coach and sometime other people. And I think in coaching, there's maybe 4 C's. It starts with a C, and it all starts with communication. You have to be able to communicate. Then you have to be able to connect. Then there will be commitment, and then you have to care. I think those 4 C's I understood also even more this summer with coaching Chicago Sky, that communication is crucial. It is crucial because sometimes you say something and you're like, ooh, no, I didn't mean it that way. And then you think about it, oh, how can the message I have in my head, what is the best way to communicate? In sports, obviously, not everything is verbal. There's a lot of non-verbal communication on a basketball court, and we can teach each other, we can give each other feedback of it because body language is very, very important to us. It's not always have to be in the same language. I've played all around the world where we did not speak the same language, but we communicate. You communicate, and the better you communicate, the better you can transfer your message. And then you make connection. You make connection with other people. Those relationships are important. I know we talk about robot surgery here, but it's still connection with other people. You have to teach other people how to do it. And that connection will make more commitment in your team. And when somebody is more committed to the team, that's where you have those amazing results. It's then because you care. And I think those emotions, we can never stop them, because if you really care for something, people will feel it and people will do the extra thing for you. So that's where I feel like it's very important. And like Simon Sinek, maybe you guys heard of it, leadership is not about being in charge. No, that's the easy part. It's about taking care of those in your charge. And that's much harder, because it's people. And as a leader, you have to give credit to your team when everything goes well, and you have to take the responsibility when things are going bad. You don't do it for the applause, you do it for the cause. So it's not always easy, for sure, at being a leader, but it's something that, we can help each other and grow. The third thing, we build our resilience. We became great leaders, but in a leader, you always have to make a team. And that, of course, is my favorite part, maybe, because teamwork is so important. We know that probably there's a lot of talent in this room, but if you're not going to work together, if you're not going to be smart, you might have one success here and there, but we want to be here for the long run, right? We want to be sustainable. We want to win those championships, not just that one game. And Michael Jordan, I am a kid of the 90s, understood that he had an unbelievable talent, but he understood, I'm going to need my team to win those championships and to leave a legacy, not just to be an extraordinary player. I want to leave a legacy. So teamwork is something that I love to talk about, because together everybody achieves more. Obviously, we know that. And I think the Belgian Cats are a really, really nice example of that, because we also understood we come from a small country, basketball, not the most popular sport here. We had talent, yes, but we're going to have to work really hard together in order to achieve our dreams, in order to go to those Olympics, which everybody was dreaming of as a kid. What we dare to do is really write down our dreams. I think with ORSI Academy, that's exactly what you guys did too. You have a vision, you have a dream, you start writing it down. How do I want it to look? Is it going to be exactly the same? Probably not. But it gives you like a direction. And then it becomes a goal. And that is important for all athletes. They have that really, really concrete dream. Then they make a goal of it. Then you have your plan, and then you back it up with the right actions. Then you can have that motivation every single day in order to achieve your dream. And so I think it's something that the power of teamwork is trust, energy, accountability, and mindset. So an acronym, team. Together, everybody achieves more, for sure. But those 4 fundamentals are really, really important to any team. And you guys all have to work in teams. You cannot just be with the machine and doing the surgery. No, there's a whole team behind you that has to also help you to become the best version possible. And that teamwork, it all starts with trust. Trusting each other. And I think it's not always easy, because we say that easily, trust, but we feel that it's not always that easy. And trust It's a dynamic process for sure. It's not something we just give. You have to earn it. You have to cultivate it. And it's something you have to be really aware of. There are some traps because if you rely too much on yourself, it's not really good for the trust. Because if you think, oh, I can do it better, I'm not going to trust that person. No, we have to keep on working on that trust. It means also being trustworthy. It means being reliable. And so on. So it's not that easy in a team. And still, in all those different teams, in all those different countries I've played, when there is not enough trust, it is impossible to have sustainable results. You can have here and there, yes, a good game. But really to have sustainable, to win those championships, you'll have to build that trust within each other. And it's about getting to know somebody maybe differently, not only in a professional way, to create those relationships again, to create that connection, to be open to each other, to have that open mindset. Because if you have more trust in your team, then obviously it's easier to give feedback and feed forward. We say sometimes, feedback is the breakfast of every champion. We want to get better. Feedback develops talent. It aligns expectations. It is so crucial that athletes demand it all the time. We want to get better. Yes, it's something positive for us, feedback. In some environments, feedback is often seen as criticism. But it shouldn't be, because if there is enough of trust, we can give each other feedback. We can give each other feedback to make each other better. And that's what we do in sports all the time. We try to always go that level higher. And that comes by giving concrete feedback in an environment that is safe enough also. Because if you didn't work on your trust, if there is no connection, then it's very hard to give feedback. I saw it this summer. If you don't have a good connection with a player, then whatever you say, it will go 1 ear in and 1 ear out. It doesn't have the impact. It's also about receiving feedback. It's being open-minded for that. But that's where real growth is, in feedback and feed forward. Now, the E stands for energy, and you feel it. Energy is something also, again, we can't touch, but we feel it right away. When we enter a room, what kind of energy is in there? As a leader, again, you'll have to have great energy all the time. I believe strongly it's something that you attract also, that is contagious. If you come in with positive energy, you most likely will attract it. And the other way around too. So it's something in sports that we do pay attention to, because it's something that that can be the fuel of your team. You know, that can be the X factor. Because if you believe in each other, if you have that energy going, and of course, out of research, the positive psychology, it is important to have those positive emotions to perform at your best. So, of course, we're going to try to do it. It's also about, yes, celebrating the small successes, not only waiting until you win that championship, but it's also about being there for each other, being connected to each other, being there with an enthusiastic way, having that positive body language, believing in each other, encouraging each other. That gives you the power. It's also about recognizing each other's strengths and even trying to put that even more into the display. All those strengths we have in our team. And that comes right away for the A of accountability, all the different roles in a team. You have to be complementary. Yes, there are different roles in a team. Not all of you can be the surgeons doing the procedure. There's going to be a lot of other roles that in your team that are going to make you be the best performing team ever. So for us, same thing, basketball. You have different positions, you have different roles. There is one that's going to be the top scorer, but there's a lot of other roles that are as crucial. It's understanding that. It's taking those responsibilities sometimes. Yes, I could be the top scorer for my team, or it's accepting that, hey, I'm benched today. I'm not going to score today. I'm going to be on the bench for this game. And it's for the good of the team. So it's understanding in a team that it can change, obviously. And I'm thankful that I've had many different roles on all those different teams, because I've learned from it. I've learned in all those different roles how I can be at my best too in order to perform good for my team. And then, of course, the M from mindset. I think we all want to have that winning mindset, that competitive edge. It's that edge that you want to do better. Yes, we all have that, and I think there's something else we have in common. But with that being said, that winning mindset and that believing in it, that you can do it, there comes something else that we for sure have in common, because WIN might be an acronym for what's important now. And I want to say with this acronym, it's about being able to focus. Those laser focus that we need as athletes to be at our best in the moment we have to perform. It's exactly the same what you guys need to really, really be focused at what the task is in front of you. And I admit as an athlete, it was easier to do because it was very clear. If I was not there mentally, emotionally, physically, I could not be at my best. I could not think about other things, about all the distractions in our lives. But now, yes, in my different life, I feel it's harder because we do have different roles in our lives and we want to do them all pretty good. And so we juggle around, and it's not always easy because a lot of information, a lot of distraction, everything comes at us. But then people, high performance, resilient people, leaders, that's something that they do really well. They can really focus on what is right there in front of them. Does it mean that maybe at night you spend quality time with your family? Yes, leave work behind, leave the phone away. Is it about being very focused to learn a new skill? Yes, we can do that. But that's something that it's not always easy to do, but think sometimes about the win. What is in this particular moment the most important thing to do? With that being said, and I've talked a lot, and I hope you guys also see a lot of similarities about being resilient, being a good leader, working in a team. I hope that you guys also, I know this is in Dutch, but it says, keep dreaming of the Olympics. I had an Olympic dream, and I had to work really hard for it. I had to be patient also sometimes, which is not always a great trait of us. But in order to achieve that dream, I realized something else. Yeah, we have to be ambitious. We have to create a new future, a vision for all of us, and we want to stay really motivated to work on it on a daily basis. But at the same time, I also understood that this whole journey towards reaching your dream might be even the more crucial one and the more value one, because it is a journey, what we are all trying to do here. And we want to have impact. Yes, we're trying to really hard. And the beauty lays in the every single day action we do. Not only when we just reach our goal or our dream, but it's all about the process. So I think life is definitely a journey, not a destination. And I want to really wish you guys an unbelievable great day with sharing a lot of knowledge, sharing a lot of experience. I hope I brought something very different to you to start this Saturday. And I want to thank you to listen to me. And I wish you guys all the best to create a better future for all of us. Thank you.
Anne, thank you very much. This was a super inspiring
Thank you.
talk. I think your career has been magnificent.
Thank you.
But how you deal with life and how you help the youngsters to grow and blow under your supervision, I think it's wonderful. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
And please accept this little present
Thank you.
from,
Thank you very
from
much.
us.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much.